Jesus was born during a time that shook the foundations of earthly kings, because while the world saw a baby wrapped in simple cloth, heaven knew a king had entered the world. The arrival of this king threatened the very pride, the very security, and the very illusion of power every ruler held so tightly. As Herod sat on his high marble throne, with guards standing by and servants speaking softly, he pretended to be fearless. But deep within his heart, sweat dripped down the back of a man who had done more than most to keep control. When he heard that a child had been born, who had been called the King of the Jews, his hands began to shake, and his voice trembled as he asked the wise men when the star first appeared. He knew that the existence of this child meant the end of his own kingdom had begun. This was not just Herod's fear, but the fear of every king who held a crown made by men, because they noticed that their thrones were not built on gold only, but on fragile egos and the thin walls of their pride. And while earthly kings were afraid, the heavens were celebrating. Angels sang over fields, and stars shone more brilliantly than any torch of a king. This brightness was half the reason kings trembled, because when man sees a light greater than his own artificial flames, it reveals the truth. His greatness was never greatness at all. In the humble city of Bethlehem, with animals breathing steadily and night echoing quietly, the true king lay in complete humility, yet fully clothed in glory, though that glory could not be seen by eyes that valued only crowns, robes, and scepters. Herod remembered the old prophecies that spoke powerfully of a savior who would rise outside of the palaces, demolishing the arrogance of men and lifting the humble into positions of honor. This terrified him, not because Jesus came with armies, not because Jesus rallied rebels, not because Jesus spread political agenda, but because Jesus brought the kingdom of heaven, a kingdom whose authority surpassed the heights of every kingdom, built by man on fear, blood, and selfish ambition. Herod's heart burned with rage and panic, and he sent armies and commands and soldiers to search for the child, because in the realm of fear, men in power make irrational decisions in desperate attempts to preserve their weak thrones. But he forgot that this newborn king did not need earthly shielding. This king was protected by heavenly purpose, and no soldier, no danger, no decree could stop a destiny written by God himself. In the middle of all this, Mary held her child quietly while Joseph stood beside her, listening to the sounds of a king's fear stretching across the land. Mary looked at her child, knowing that though his hands were tiny, they were the hands that would one day declare forgiveness, guide the broken, heal the hurting, and restore the lost. Joseph understood that though Jesus was a baby in that moment, he was already the authority above man and the hope of the world. Meanwhile, in nearby kingdoms, rumors spread, and earthly kings heard whispers of this newborn threat. Some called it mystical, others called it uprising, but deep within, all kings knew that there is a king greater than all mankind. The appearance of this king meant that every false kingdom would eventually fall, because no throne made with human hands can stand against a throne established by the Creator of heaven and earth. While fear spread into the hearts of rulers, peace filled the hearts of shepherds. When God reveals his kingdom, it exposes the false kings and empowers humble men and women who had been ignored, pushed aside, and overlooked. The birth of Jesus did not only shake palaces, it shook every place where people hid their pain, tightened their fear, and believed nothing could change. Jesus' arrival was not just to threaten the majesty of kings, but to reveal the frailty of their rule. Other rulers sat on the edges of their seats taking deep breaths as they realized that this child, who would one day become a man teaching love, justice, and truth, held authority that could not be won by armies or stolen by force. This authority was not given by man to this man. It was inherent because he was the Son of God. This truth made the brightest crowns look dim and the highest thrones look small. The greatest kings trembled not because of what Jesus could take, but because of what Jesus could reveal. They saw that his way was unlike theirs. He would lift children, touch the untouchables, give grace to the scorned, forgive where kings would kill, and love where kings would oppress. This made him a different kind of king, one they had no idea how to fight. How do you stop a king whose kingdom is unshakable and whose power is rooted in love instead of fear? As years progressed and days passed, the world noticed that Jesus threatened earthly kings not with sword, but with truth, not with war, but with wisdom, not with political alliances, but with heavenly instruction. Kings who had built legacies on intimidation realized that this king would change everything. Jesus did not come to take an earthly throne. He came to show the world what a real kingdom was. A godly kingdom, a powerful kingdom, an endless kingdom that no earthly ruler could ever stop. Earthly kings worried, but heaven smiled, for God knew that all the power of their lives, all their armies, all their wealth, and all their words could never control or destroy a king who comes from heaven. Jesus grew, walked, spoke, and transformed the earth with a power that made the fear of kings meaningless. And finally, when Herod and others passed away, history proved the truth clearly. Earthly kings fall, but the king born in Bethlehem reigns forever.